We are here with the platform, the core, and the mobile teams to give you an update on what happened in the past 2 weeks. If you have any questions, please use a Q or question prefix in the live chat below, and we will have a dedicated Q&A session at the end. Without further ado, let's start with the platform team and with Sam. Sam, would you kick us off?
Sure.
Let me find the screen share as well. Okay. Can you see the presentation?
I can see.
Wonderful.
Yep. So less people on our team than before. It is true. But we got a lot done, and we want to tell you all about it. The focus of the last 2 weeks was heavily around testing and Dash Evo tool improvements. So on testing, basically everybody in the platform team, and on the tool, me and Paul did things. So let's go into things. Actually, we're going to start with Tender Dash. Lucas, you want to say what you did for Tender Dash?
Yeah, hi. So basically, in terms of tender dash, it's mainly maintenance at this point. We have one kind of open topic which is on hold, which is state synchronization to make new nodes sync faster. And second feature that is basically it's merged and already released is single node quorums. So on tender dash side, this is merged. And we did some dependency updates, including Golang to new version, and released that feature. So it's a pre-release, it's not for release yet, but in the most recent pre-release, 1.5.0, the dev 2, single node quorum on tender dash side is supported. And also in terms of maintenance, we did a pre-release of RS Tender Dash ABCI, which is a library that is connecting Tender Dash with Rust applications, namely platform and the drive inside platform. And it's pre-released as 1.5.0 dev 1. So basically, it was Tender Dash is more maintenance mode right now.
Excellent. Thank you. Yeah, and Tender Dash works fine, as it's been shown to drive our network without an issue for the last 7 months. I don't know how long we've been on mainnet. So, okay, I wanted to start by going over this slide, which was what's left. So it was a slide from 2 weeks ago, and just showing that everything was done. Oops, I forgot to make the done green, but basically everything was done. We moved some of the rare token distributions to 2.1. Actually, we got all of them in except random. So the random distribution is disabled. We might not even enable it in 2.1. It might come later. It's one of those things that maybe this feature isn't even like necessary. We're going to wait for people to actually ask for this before we actually implement it, because it's a little bit more complex than our original implementation to have something that really seems random. Okay, queries for direct selling, those were done. So now you can see like, oh, who's selling stuff and stuff like that. Config update state transition support in the SDK, we did that. Paul did that, well done. Merging in the search, these are all stuff that was in progress that we needed to finalize, and they were all done as well. So then we continued testing, and that's ongoing, and we found a lot of, well, not a lot. We found some issues. I would say we probably found more issues in, well, Lukas would probably say that he found more issues in the Dash Evo tool than in platform itself. But I mean, everything minor, everything we're working on, and we're just getting things working as best as possible. So let's move on. Yeah, Lucas, you want to talk about this?
Yeah, first, I already mentioned also the state sync in Drive. Its second part of state sync is on hold, but this is not merged and nor really released yet. It needs some review and testing. I also did some minor maintenance and bug fixing here, mainly security related, so that 2.0 is up to date with dependencies. And I helped with tokens. First thing is the SDK implementation for one of the requests. And then I switched to the QA hub and did some testing of token distributions on the unit test level. And after that, I switched to Dash Evo tool, and that's what Sam already mentioned. I'm just trying to use Dash Evo tool in a non-standard way, like add keys to identities that are not often added to in that combinations and stuff, like breaking that and creating tickets. Majority of that are minor. Some are like usability issues. I don't know what to do or what a message means, or the message is invalid. So I'm even reporting stuff like that the message is not clear, right? Because trying to understand the system from the user perspective. So that's what is my current focus. So my goal right now for the next few days is to just break Dash Evo tool, and the main focus within it is on tokens in terms of creating tokens, distributing tokens. However, so far I only see the Dash Evo tool issues, no real issues with the platform. So the tooling around the platform, let's say, needs some work, but platform, I didn't manage to break platform yet.
Well, we're gonna try. We keep on trying, right? We
Yeah,
did.
in that QA hat, in that QA role, it's my job to break it, right? That's my goal.
Yeah.
And it's quite
Yeah.
funny, actually, to prove Sam that he did something wrong.
You'll
Hard
never
to do,
get
but
me.
funny.
You guys will never get me. Never. Okay, so this is stuff that I did, quality and stability improvements. So I'm gonna quickly go over what each one was and why it's important, maybe for developers that are listening. One issue that actually we found that's been around forever is that the proof returned in document state transition, like when you broadcast a document, it can sometimes be wrong. And it can sometimes be wrong because you're comparing data locally that is 32 bytes long and but not wrapped in the bytes 32 value type system. And then it returns something that is wrapped. The underlying data is exactly the same, but the proof is saying that there's a mismatch, even though the data is the same. So, that does not probably speak to many people. It's basically just like if you were to put the same data in two differently colored boxes and then say if they're equal. And it was saying no, but actually they are. So that's been fixed. So now we won't have any issues there. So here's a very big issue that we actually had. And um, okay, let me explain. We have in version 2.0 of platform, we have a new data contract version. It's version 2. However, in before platform version 2 or Evo 2, we have data contract version 1. And we actually were cleaning the cache of all data contracts when we switch epochs. So whenever we switch epochs to a new version, actually just whenever we switch epochs, we always clean all the cache of all the stored data contracts just to clean the system and then start the epoch kind of more fresh, just in case there was an issue like this. However, this was not applying to the system contracts. The system contracts are outside of the cache because they're used quite often. So what was happening is when the clients running 2.0 pre-fork would load, they would load the data contract, the system data contract in version 1. Actually, it's version 0 and version 1. So yeah. So it would load it in version 0, and then basically it needed to be version 1. So for the oh my God, the versions are all so complicated. So in 2.0, the data contract needed to have all the token stuff, and that so the data contract had to be represented as a data contract version 1, but it was still in cache as version 0 just for the system data contracts. So anyways, it's been fixed. We also introduced a new document serialization to counter a different problem that we were having that was also shown by this upgrade, is that in previous versions, all integers were always encoded as using 8 bytes. I mean, just because, we can't make a perfect product, on the first version, right? So in version 2, we changed this to allow for very granular integer types. So like that, you can only I mean, if you only need 1 byte, you only use 1 byte instead of 8 bytes, and makes your fees smaller. It makes the data that you store smaller. It just is better to do it that way. But there was some incompatibility where data contracts in one version, like it didn't know in which way it was serializing and which way it was deserializing. So basically, version 0 serialization will always have 64-bit ints, which is 8 bytes, and serialization v1 will have the proper sized integers. Okay. That was actually a lot of work because, some of these problems, you don't really understand what's going on. You get hints, and then it takes a lot of time to go down and dig and figure out, oh, okay, that's what's going on. Another thing that we did is we made the token history claim make the recipient ID required. Not a big deal. It was very small. We didn't understand. Well, when I looked at things, I wrote that I made the recipient ID optional, but in all situations when you make a claim, it goes to somebody, yourself. So it's never optional. So I'm not sure why it was optional in the system data contract. So made it required. Okay, next one. Says tree sum value directly from element. I don't know why I wrote this. Yeah, small fix, nothing worthy talking about. Enforce limit in perpetual distribution query, small thing, nothing important. Token history contract correct claim indexes. Yeah, so I redid the claim indexes so you could more easily search your claims in the token history contract. Another thing. And then some refactoring, like improving the debugging helpers. And the last one is quite interesting. Matt from the incubator found a few weeks ago that the serialized consume method that we were using didn't match the serialized method that we were using. Now, we were not actually using the serialized consume in consensus critical code. It was being used a little bit in tests, and it was just, it had a bug in it. So we got rid of it completely, and now there's just serialized. So, it just better. Okay. New features and improvements. So another thing is that if everybody, we were handling state transitions So when we release 2.0, it will be on protocol version 8. And then eventually it will fork to protocol version 9. But during that period where you have 2.0 on the systems, you don't want it to be able to like uh like uh, do things with state transitions that are only meant for version 9. So yeah, for version 2.0 or protocol version 9, which is when we introduced token state transitions. So anything before the fork activates, we need to just reject the state transitions. And while that was being done, it was being done in a way that could lead to some inconsistencies. So I made it a lot cleaner now. So it wouldn't like go up to many steps. Like those state transitions would never have passed, but they might have been included in a block. And then the proposer's block might have been rejected, and that would have caused the proposer to lose money. So you could basically like attack proposers and make the proposers just like lose their rewards. Not a good thing, right? So that's another fix that we did. I introduced token configuration presets. This is a UI only, and we'll show you that in the demo that we'll do later. We added a token last claim query endpoint as well. And I believe Lucas helped me with this one, if I'm not mistaken. So just get the last claim of a token. Not sure. What do you remember what this was?
No, it wasn't me.
I forget exactly what that is referencing. I'm taking this off the GitHub messages, but I'll have to look. But we added a lot of query endpoints, so probably one of them is having to do with the last claims. Okay, in developer experience, we expanded the token configuration documentation as well. And we added polynomial and exponential distribution tests. That's it. Oh, yeah. So Dash Evo tool, what did I do there? I created a document visualizer screen that I'll show later, which basically allows you to decode and inspect raw documents. It's kind of like a debug tool. Introduce the token configuration presets in the UI. I added an advanced keeps history flag and like much more granular audit. And I also fixed the consistency of the database around tokens. So there was a lot of tables inside the database that were not properly linked together and not cascading on deletes and stuff like that. So I fixed all of that and did a migration, so it would be just clean for people. Cleaner document key selection widget. Yes, I did that. And then I did an accurate mass node reward estimate calculation. Actually, it's Evo node reward estimate calculation, and I'll show that as well. No, actually not. It's not a master node reward estimate calculation. It's a token reward estimate calculation for user rewards. Oops, wrote the wrong thing. Okay. Paul, you want to go next?
Sure. Thank you. Yeah, so I think you actually covered a lot of what I worked on. I added the token config update transition to the SDK. So like tokens are basically defined by token configs. So this is essentially like a transition. It's very similar to like data contract update, except for tokens. There are certain things that you can update in a token, like maybe the max supply and stuff. So we just added this transition to the SDK. We still have to, we kind of did it quickly and forgot about it. So I still have to add it to the Dash Evo tool. So that'll be to do for next week. let's see, bug fix and Rust-Core. This was the root of XKCD from the communities. He was having an issue on Dash Evo tool where his top up got stuck. It was like a massive top up on testnet. And it was actually out of bounds for a U32, which is like an integer size. And so, yeah, we had just basically it boiled down to had to update that in Rust-Core to U64. GroveDB errors, like somewhere along the way in the past few weeks or months, stopped like logging the path query, this thing that helps us for debugging proof errors, basically. So added that back, added the ability to fetch last token distribution claim in SDK. So yeah, you can basically see the last time that you claimed for a specific token. This was essential for a certain screen in Dash Evo tool that we'll show you. We're going to do a demo in a few minutes. Added get token config using context provider. Basically for clients, there are certain, like there are certain times when it's much easier for the client to do something rather than us do it platform side. So we let the clients basically define a function and pass it into the SDK, and getting a token config from what is it? A token ID, I think it is one of these cases. So I added this functionality using it in Dash Evo tool. And what is debugging serialization issue for token distribution claims. This was, Sam already talked about this. It was like a bug we worked on for too long last week. And yeah, I mean, Sam showed me his wizard skills to, in the end, figure out what it was. Yeah, so that's it for tokens. In Dash Evo tool, we added a screen for viewing your past claims on a token. Sam last night, while he was half asleep, created an awesome screen that we've been needing. So you can create documents in Dash Evo tool now. He created the core backend while he was half asleep last night, and I kind of just plugged it into Dash Evo tool and made it look nice and basically plugged it in. I fleshed out the token creator. So now when you give a token a name, you can like select a language, and you can give it like a name for each language and stuff. And you can also define keywords and descriptions for contracts and descriptions for tokens. And I worked a bit on the estimating the last claim thing, which we'll show you with Sam as well. So Sam is going to share his screen.
Yep.
For the demo.
Where is it? There we go. Do you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to make it a little bit smaller, so maybe it takes more of the room. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so we have a lot to show. Let's start with the documents, right? I think that's
Sure.
Start with the documents. So I already have an identity here. We've already demoed like how to create an identity, so I won't go into that. But yeah, we'll show the documents. So one thing that we added was we actually also did this load contracts, right? We forgot to
That was
mention
so
that.
long ago.
What?
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Are you sure? No, it wasn't.
It's okay. You don't recognize my work. It's fine.
What? No.
I did
What?
that. I did that last. Yeah, I did that over Christmas.
Oh, fuck. Oh, sorry, my language. Oh, yeah. Well, okay. I said fudge for everybody who wants to know in the future what was just said out loud. Okay, so yeah, doesn't matter. Let's so this, we can search like, oh, here's a contract. This contract was made by the Feds yesterday, so you can just fetch documents from it. Oh no, wrong on this one. So I think like people have seen this in the past, like very small things that are there. But we can add a document now. So just select the contract that you want, select the document type, choose the identity that you want to do, and then it will automatically create all the fields that you can select. And then this is fun. And then something like that, and then you can broadcast the document. What? Oh, it doesn't allow. Okay. Oh, it doesn't,
Space?
the label is special that it doesn't allow like spaces. Okay. Okay. And then now if we fetch it, it's probably in here. What did I write? This is fun. Uh
Wow,
oh,
a
there
lot
it
of
is. There it is. Found it. But you can also like narrow down the search. But yeah, being able to add a document is important for testing, especially like when you have documents that have a token cost. What to test next? Well, actually, before we go on to tokens, which is going to be a big thing, I also wanted to show the document deserializer. So you can take a document. So here there was an error that like, getting back errors from the system sometimes, during our testing. These errors probably you would not have these errors anymore, but like here you can actually see in the proof the document is actually contained here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the document like hex code, and then I'm going to put it in the deserializer for this contract. And then I have to remove this 0x. What actually was this? Was this a DPNS document? Maybe it was a pre-order. I forget what document we used.
It looks like
Oh,
you removed an extra zero when you just did a backspace.
oh, is that what I did?
Yeah,
I kind of forget like which one this is.
I think it was a pre-order.
It was a pre-order. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Ah, what happened? Oh, there we go. Yeah, so you can just deserialize the hex encoded document. This is not a big feature, but you know, it does help for people trying to debug things. Okay, let's go into the main fun part, which is tokens. So, which part did you want to show?
So last review, I spoke about the keyword search and promised a demo this time. So
Oh, that
maybe,
should we do that
yeah,
first?
yeah, you want to create a token with some keywords and
Let me actually show off the token creator then.
yeah,
So here's the token creator. You select the identity and the key that you want to create the token with, and let's create it as a name called demo token, right? Let's say that I mean, we can, the creator of the token gets 2,000 tokens. Let's not put a max supply, and let's put some keywords in there. So demo token fun stuff. Is this correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
super fun.
Well, yeah, that sounds weird. Demo token, amazing. Better. And amazing token for the demo on April 29th. What year are we again? Okay. So we're
Can you
gonna say,
too?
I'm sorry?
Can you do the name and show the language?
Oh yeah. Oh, so that's in English. And then we can create like demo token. No, le, it's the same thing in French. uh I'm not sure. Let's well, le démo du token. I actually speak French and I'm putting on an English accent right there, American accent. Okay, there we go. So you can put like the names in different languages of the token. So this is something that I worked on. So basically keep history. The keep history, if you just check it here, it will mean that it will do all these things. So every time a transfer happens, it will record it. Every time a freezing or an unfreezing of token balance, it will record it. Anytime a mint, it will record it. Anytime it burns tokens, it will record it. Anytime the price of, like, basically it will do everything. But you can select some of these to be off. Like, just like, okay, I only want those three. Decimals, that's an interesting thing. There's information if you go over. Wait,
Click on it.
yeah, yeah. So the decimal places of the token, for example, in Dash and Bitcoin uses 8. The minimal indivisible amount is a duff or a Satoshi, respectively. So yeah, I mean, you can. There's more information than there used to be. We could say that the name should be capitalized in general. Starting as paused means that the transfers will be disabled. Nobody can uh, actually uh, transfer the token if you put this until you unpause it. These are the presets that we were talking about. Like, it's just more of a thing. Like, most restrictive means no one can like, you can't do anything after you publish the token. Like, it's published and then it is what it is. You can also do like all allowed. All allowed is a little bit discouraged because you can severely um, make problems for yourself by removing your ability to change things. So, like, for example, author changing authorized action takers to no one allowed. That would mean that I can remove the ability to mint, and then what it will never be able to change again, right? Especially if you change the admin takers to no one, that means that you can remove the ability to mint the token and you can never change it back to having the ability. So most of the time, you might want to do like advanced actions or minting and burning. Minting and burning means that you can mint the token, you can burn the token, you can't freeze or unfreeze the token, and you can't destroy frozen funds. Um, so it kind of like gives you some default things that might be a little bit more um, common. But so what should we go with? Minting and burning? I've never actually tested this one, so it will be a live test. And then let's create a perpetual distribution. So these are the distributions, and let's say that every minute, so every minute in milliseconds would be
You should do a smaller time so we can demo the claims.
Well, yeah, but it happens per block anyways, which is 3 minutes, right? You can't check more often than every block. So,
Okay.
And
one feature.
also, we are kind of running out of time.
No,
So,
time. We have more than enough time. No
all right.
problem.
Please be
You know what?
mindful.
We're gonna. Okay. Well, we're doing every minute. We are going to give out a fixed amount of. Well, actually, just let's do one, just to make it. I mean, no, let's do it more complicated than that. 100. We're giving out 100 to ourselves every minute. And we're saying that nobody will ever be able to change these perpetual distribution rules. They're fixed forever. And that seems good. So are we good to register this one, Paul?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's press register and let's pray. Yay, it worked. And like now we have this token, demo tokens, and we can go in and we can check my balance. I think that I said that it started off with 2,000. Yeah, and we have 2,000. And yeah, so we're going to go a little bit into the claims and the estimate of the unclaimed rewards right afterwards. Wait, what were you going to show off? I
The
forgot.
search.
Oh, the search. Oh, excellent. Do you remember what we called some of them?
Amazing.
Amazing. Okay. Amazing. And we found it. Here's the contract and then more info. Oh, no, here it is.
This screen is still ugly.
Well, we we do what we can. So yeah, like you can search for your contracts now. So let's imagine that how it will work, right? It's not only going to work in the Dash Evo tool, but oh, you can't actually exit it. Oh, wait, no, you can. Like this. Oh, so it won't only work in the Dash Evo tool, but like, let's imagine in the future, somebody is looking for tokens that they care about. Like maybe somebody who is um, wants to buy a meme coin, they could type in meme, right? Or somebody who wants to buy a token that's dealing with um, high rewards, you could type in high rewards, or environmentally friendly, or various token keywords that exist, or maybe um, betting markets, right? Like let's imagine in the future we have a token that is used by betting markets. You just type in betting market and you just find the token that you care about, and then it might give a lot of information. Long time down the future, what I want to do is I want to have like, a way to um like review various tokens. I know that's a little bit gonna be a little bit difficult in a decentralized setting, but maybe one day we'll be able to do it and have it like completely decentralized and have various identities carry more weight based off of their standing and how many friends they have or stuff like that. Create some type of dystopian future or utopian, however you look at it. uh okay, well, let's go in and well, I mean, that's great. The token search is great. Okay, so let's look at our demo tokens and let's estimate the unclaimed reward. So it's been a few minutes since we've done this. So do you remember how many? I think we were doing 100 every minute. So let's see what the estimate tells us. So it says that there's been 3 minutes that have gone by, and that that sounds about right. And that we're estimated that our unclaimed rewards is 300. So let's make a claim. So, this thing, and let's press claim. Are you sure you want to claim? And our claim succeeded. And we go back here and we look at our token, and now, yeah, so actually we got 400. Probably another minute had passed in the time between our estimate and that we actually did the claim. So works perfectly. And then we can actually see our claims that we've done. So we've only done one claim for this one so far, but I can do this one that I had done more claims on earlier, and I can do the view claims here, and here should have more claims, right? So I did one claim for 108. The very beginning. Then I did one closely after. Like I did one claim right after probably doing it. Then I did one claim a little bit longer, and then I did one claim like way later, and then I got a lot more because it was like it's a fixed distribution. So yeah, that's kind of it. I want to show like how in depth we've actually gone with some things. So I'm gonna just I'm Balash is gonna kill me, but let's go here. Let's create a new token. So token. Oh, and by the way, for people wondering, it's red at the top here because we're on a DevNet. We're not yet on testnet. So in the perpetual distribution, let's do something a little crazy. Let's say like every millisecond, well, maybe not every millisecond, every 10 seconds, we do an exponential thing. So another thing that I did is I showed the formula here for the various functions that you can do and what parameters you can put in. Now, this is pretty advanced stuff. So most average people are not going to choose an exponential distribution, and you probably don't want to have an extra exponential distribution anyways. This is probably the one function that I should not have included because it's stupid most of the time. But you could maybe want it if you get your scaling factors, if you get the m and the n just right, you could have like an exponential curve that doesn't raise too quickly. And it might be interesting, especially if you put the step intervals far away from each other. But let's just imagine we're going to put it at like the maximum of all these things. So the exponent rate is 8. The exponent, this is 1. The divisor 1. The start period offset 0. The offset 0. Yeah. Okay, like this. Okay. Is there any other fields that we need to put in here? No. Okay, so in this case, we're actually going to put an offset of -100. So it's going to say that it will be as if we registered the token 100 blocks ago in terms of where it starts in the distribution function. So I'm going to confirm this, and what I expect is an error message. Yeah, so incoherent parameters in token distribution function. Since m is positive, the exponential function will increase. However, it starts at the maximum value already, which makes the function never used. So in this case, because exponential has such high parameters, it's going to start at having so many tokens. It's actually, there's the max tokens you can distribute at any time is 2 to the power of 48, which is an insanely big number if you actually look at what 2 to the power of 48 is. But I'm guessing according to this formula, if you put in all these values, you would also have a number greater than 2 to the power of 48, which would basically mean that there's no point in having this function because it's, you couldn't make I mean, it's never going to vary. It's always going to be at the maximum. So the system basically stops stupidity from existing. Yeah, there we go. And there's a lot of like, for various ones of these functions, like depending on the parameters that you put in, it will tell you like very clear error messages on why you wouldn't want to do that. Okay, I think that's probably one of the biggest demos we've ever done. And I also want to talk about what's left to test. So inside of this, there's, I mean, tokens looks great, right? Or maybe it doesn't look great, but it's there. What isn't there in the Dash Evo tool is group actions. So, for example, you can set, like, let's say you want to set your manual burn and who is allowed to perform this action. You could set it to a group. And then you can create a group. I've never done this though. We're all just on the cusp of starting this testing. Add new group, and then wow, it actually, well done, Paul. Wait, you
Well,
removed my demo.
Pardon?
huh?
Oh, no, there it is. It's back. Okay. Yeah, so basically you can add members to this group. So for example, you can say to be able to burn the token, you have to have me, Paul, Pasta all agree to burn it. Burn, like, to allow the burn thing to burn transition to happen. And in that case, what will happen is one user says, hey, I think we are trying to burn, or maybe mint is a better idea. We're gonna mint, 1,000 new tokens for this token contract. And somebody says that, and then the other two people also have to agree. If you say that everybody needs to agree, you can also put something in your group, like you can say 2 out of 3 need to agree, or you can say I need to agree, or like one person has override. You can do tons of things with groups, right? You can set it however you want. And like, so basically it's like, okay, this group, the group position is 0, the required power to pass, and then you can start adding members. So then you add the member and you say that this member like has required power 5, right? So that member can do things unilaterally, but another member, like, I just put Sam, Paul. So Paul can do things unilaterally, but Sam has power 3, and Pasta has power 3 as well. Well, let's make this 6 because well, whatever, fine. So basically, it would require me and Pasta to be in agreement to do this, to do an action that of the group position 0, or Paul could do it unilaterally. That's just an example, right? You can also put like 10 people. I think you can put up to 64 people on a group. It's either 64 or 16, something like that. But it's quite powerful. And then you can have multiple groups. So depending on what you want to do for your token, you can choose different groups. So that, like, we've tested it, but we haven't tested it in real tokens. So we have to test that pretty heavily. The next thing that we also have to do is there's the feature where documents can have a token cost, and that's also not tested. And the why that will take time is because we also have to include it into the UI to make it a little bit more easy to test. And then once we've tested those two things and we're a little bit more confident just by testing more things more thoroughly, we will go to testnet. We'll try to invite as many people to play around with things, create their tokens, etc. And then once everybody in the community believes like, okay, this is stable, like we're not finding things, we will launch 2.0, and it will be amazing. There was one other thing that I wanted to say. Sorry, it's taking so long. how much is it to register a token? Well, we've done all these actions, and when we refresh my identity balance, it was this 99.09 when we started. And if I were to refresh it now, it's like barely gone down, right? And I registered a token. We're probably not going to do it that cheap. So that's the cost that it pretty much takes for the networks times two. So it's actually insanely cheap. Like our network spends very, very little money. It's much more efficient than many other blockchains. However, we also probably as a network want to make some revenue off of this. So maybe we don't make it so cheap and we start giving out some fee revenue to Evonode holders. So the question that I have for people, and I'd like a little bit of debate here, is how much should we make it to register a token? Should we just have like right now, say that it's around in Dash equivalents to $5 is what I'm thinking right now. And I don't know if people think that's too high, that's too low. So I would like people's opinions, maybe either comment here or talk about it on Discord. Okay, let's continue.
The average on Ethereum is at least $100. So
I know.
$5 is reasonable.
I think $5 would be. I mean, if the Dash price goes up by times 10, it still only is $50, right? So you can think about it. Okay.
All right. Shall we move on to core?
Yep, let's do it.
All right.
Can you see my screen? Doesn't seem like you can see. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't think so. All right. Sounds good. So one of the big things, I mean, it's a patch, relatively minor release, but we did release 22.1.2. So if you are interested in upgrading to that, that is cool. It has a couple of small bug fixes and stuff like that. A couple of issues that kind of Sam found through some Dash Evo tool testing and stuff like that. We fixed. So nice little small improvements, but valuable. One of the cool things is proof of service banning via platform is now in review, so it's still yellow, which sucks, but basically all the implementation work there has been done as far as we can tell. We might need to change some stuff in testing with integrating it with platform, but looks good so far and it is officially in review. Extended addresses for DML. Kitty Whiskers has been working well on that, and I think a couple of prerequisite PRs have been merged in that do some refactoring that will enable us to, actually merge in the final extended addresses stuff. So we are making solid progress there. Single member reg test quorums were also merged in the past 2 weeks, so that is cool. We had been kind of a little stalled out on that, waiting for some integration testing with platform, and I believe that integration testing happened and everything was functioning as expected. So we finally merged that in. So we are excited about that. And then there's some other, minor things going on. We can move on to the next slide. You can see the backport progress here. V24 was the biggest one, I think, went up a couple of percent. But we did, I think it was something like 50 backports in the last week or so. So a solid chunk of backports were done recently, and we can move on to the next slide, and we'll see that again, where can we move on to the next slide? So a good chunk of backports. There's some networking stuff. There were some trivial stuff. There was Unix domain sockets, which is kind of interesting, but for Some stuff like the Tor proxy and some other stuff, you can use Unix sockets instead of like TCP sockets, which are potentially much more lightweight. It's a way to kind of do inter-process communication, but kind of interesting. Um, that has not strictly been tested, but that was a set of backports, and that was actually a prerequisite towards the extended address stuff. It did some refactoring in that area that we needed. So nice chunk of stuff here. The 6636 changing how we serialize C-deterministic MN state was needed for moving towards the extended addresses as well. And then we fixed up some stuff with W error. I think some stuff with W error kind of broke for us, so a couple of PRs in there. We're fixing that, as well as some miscellaneous performance, some test speed ups, stuff like that. So, all right, I think we can move on to mobile.
Sounds good. All right, so a lot of work on the Android side in particular. We had some maintenance and continued feature work on DashPay. We had to reduce the APK size just to handle the support related tickets better. That got bloated from the CoinJoin transactions, so that was the main driver there. Transaction metadata settings. We finished the main settings and then moved on to the historical metadata. So in its current state, we could start saving from that point forward. But then we needed to allow for, if they've already had a history, we can upload that to the network as well. I had some problems with, or unexpected issues with the receive invitation changes, what we're calling part 2, which just changes the general flow of how things work. So we ran into some bugs there that kept that going a little longer than planned. Small bug on the transaction or on the home screen rendering transactions. And we had a few different features in the receive QR code that seemed to have gone missing after we did the redesign, and it just happened to be the username was missing. So that got added back in. Some more work on dash spend. We had some issues with barcodes being scanned at the physical point of sale. So that came out of our testing. There's situations where CTX may disable merchants on the fly, even though we preload our database with the merchant info. There could be changes, where some are disabled. So we had to handle that, as well as a couple issues updating the database. And we started the public data for DashSpend. So now anybody can participate and use DashSpend in its beta form now. They just have to have the link, which has been posted in Discord. If anyone can't find it, I can post it again. And that'll just it'll give you access to that version. So that's been going on for about a little over a week now. Probably getting very close to publishing this to the store. We're going to make a few other improvements to it first, but it's probably within the next week or so we'll be publishing that to the store. On iOS, work continued with integration of DashSync into DashPay. That was done. We had our QA on vacation, so we couldn't get into too much testing last week. That just started in earnest today, or yesterday, sorry. And there was a couple crashes that were some blockers, but one of them was just relating to upgrades, another one was something else. So they will continue our testing while they fix the upgrade issue on new wallets, so we can keep that testing going. The platform sync progress also was taking a little longer than planned. And we implemented the UI side for private memos. Still needs to be tied in to the app. And then there was an issue with syncing with unhandled transactions, and a merchant type info screen and the login for DashSpend were both completed. So making good progress on DashSpend for iOS as well. Yeah, that's it for mobile.
I have a question.
Sure.
Yeah. So I think that this might not have, not everybody might have understood, but when these things are tested and when everything is working, Dash Pay for iOS will be released, right?
Yeah, Dash Pay is still the priority for iOS. I mean, we're just doing
No, I
Dash
mean,
Pay.
like there's literally no, not Dash Spend. I'm sorry, Dash Pay. These three things basically, like the new version with usernames. I'm asking this mostly for community members to understand. We're in the testing phase of the end, right? And once this is tested and it works, we can release and that will finally be out.
I mean, that's the plan. I mean, the testing literally just started, so I mean, I can't give any timeline right now, but I mean, we'll certainly start with a beta of some kind before we publish it, fully to the store. But yeah, I mean, as soon as we have a working Dash Pay on iOS, we'll be getting it out to users.
Yeah. 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 I mean, the thing is that what I wanted to point out is that it's definitely taken more time than expected, but some people thought it would never happen. It did happen. It will happen. Well, I mean, we're not yet sure, but
It is happening. Yes, it will
it
happen.
is happening, is what I'm trying to show. So yeah, cool. Hopefully we'll get we'll be able to do a beta there soon.
All right. Let's see the questions. Actually, one question. What's the most efficient channel for requesting code review and answers to questions for the core team? We are in the process of coordinating external devs to work on CT, but they have doubled previous time estimates based on past experience getting feedback from core team members or maintainers. Pasta.
Yeah, sure. So, PRs on Dash Pay Dash get reviewed pretty well, I would say. Um, the the experience that they're kind of talking about with the dips repo, one, it's that PR has become it has so many like comment items on it that GitHub has trouble displaying them all. So you can scroll through it and it looks like there's nothing there, but you didn't press the one, show me more or whatever, and then you miss some, comment to a comment that was done 2 months ago, kind of a thing. So actual PRs on the Dash repo are pretty aggressively and well reviewed, um, pretty rapidly reviewed. So any kind of small, gen, you know, generally the smaller the PR, the quicker it's going to get, a good review, obviously. But um, outside of that, if for whatever reason a review is kind of stagnant or anything, um, probably reaching out on Discord and pinging, myself or Eugene, are very good ways to kind of expedite a response to a PR or something like that. So,
I think like a bigger question that Joel is probably going to want to know is what level of support are we expected from core for this confidential transactions? And that is a good question because I don't know if the level of support will be extremely high because, well, we're not, I mean, I'm not on the core team and the core team doesn't really, sorry, Pasta. I don't think you're a confidential transaction expert. You might be pretty good at it, but maybe you are. I'm sorry. I shouldn't talk for you. Uh, you see where I'm getting here.
yeah, I mean, I think the intent is for them to uh, primarily handle the implementation with, some guidance from us as needed. Um, Probably, potentially you could open like an issue on Dash Pay Dash, and that might be a good communication spot. And then it's maybe a little more open and visible than Discord, but generally speaking, if something is stalling on Discord or if something is stalling on GitHub for whatever reason, reaching out on Discord or Slack is a very good way to make sure it gets back on our list of things to look at.
All right, then. Then thanks everybody for joining, for the feedbacks and questions, and see you in 2 weeks. Bye.